Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, your daily fix of football chat. The main talking points today: Mixu Patalainen has been confirmed as the new manager of Dundee United until 2018. The SPFL has revealed a new sponsor for the League Cup. And as Mark McGee prepares for his first game in charge of Motherwell, we speak to one of his players as he prepares for a new regime in the managerial hot seat. So Alan Ruff is alongside me, and in the boot room we have Motherwell's Stephen Pearson.
The Boot Room, sponsored by Third Dimension Framing.
New gaffer in place. You won't know that much about him, but some of your teammates know quite a bit about Mark McGee, Stephen.
Yeah, first time obviously working alongside him, so speaking to a few of the lads yesterday, you know, they're very complimentary, and the new gaffer coming in, and you know, he'll really get the boys going, and you know, that's something that we're looking forward to, and I think that's what the club needs, a fresh start after obviously the disappointment of losing the manager before. It's been a kind of long process in terms of appointing a new manager, but the club have did that now, and the players are looking forward to working with them. Yeah,
Ruffy, they say you should never go back, never mind an old love, never go back to an old club.
Yeah, I think when he's had relative success there, and he knows the people who are there, he knows the supporters, as you've just said there, he knows some of the players as well, and sometimes you get a wee feeling for a club, and it makes it a lot easier to join, and I think that's the case with Mark.
Yeah, well, he was speaking to the assembled members of the press and gave us a slight indication into why he decided to go back for a second spell.
I was delighted, and you know, after speaking to what is here the football committee and eventually to the owner at some length about his intentions and his motivation for doing what he's doing here, I became convinced that yeah, it was something that I could really, you know, get my teeth into and would like to be part of.
I didn't know there was a committee at Motherwell, Ruffy, did you?
No, I think they've got obviously the fans. I don't know if the fans committee take part in any of the decisions that are made at the club, but they certainly are there to be heard. I don't know if that's what he's getting at there, but certainly you know, there would be a board a discussion, but I think the owner identified that's who they wanted, and they didn't mess about, and they got him very quickly.
Yeah, I would suggest to you, Ruffy, that Alan Burrows probably played a key role in that, because of course there was a great bond between the two of them when he was there first time around. Over and above that, I think the managers will be looking to Les Hutchison as a key player in the January transfer window.
Yeah, I think as an owner, I think he will want to be involved. There's no doubt about it. As an owner just coming in there, he won't want to see his team down the bottom of the league. He'll want to see them back up where they were a couple of seasons ago, and I'm sure he will put money into the club, there's no doubt about that, and I'm sure Mark will use it very, very wisely.
Yeah, although on the flip side of that, Stephen, I do think there's a tremendous amount of quality there.
You know, I think the squad is a good squad. It is capable of, I believe, finishing in the top six. We've underachieved so far this season, but I think the players are there, and it's just a matter of getting the best out of them on a regular basis. And that's obviously what the new manager, I'm sure, will be aiming to do. Difficult start, Celtic at home, Aberdeen away first two, but big games you're looking forward to, a new manager in, and you know, hopefully we can get a few positive results to start his regime.
I think Motherwell will come under the same category of Ross County. I think over the last 2 years there's been too many people coming and going. You know, 5 out, 5 in. Same what was happening at Ross County with the foreign players, and Jim McIntyre went up there, got a settled squad, and I think that's what Mark will try and do. He'll have the nucleus of the guys who are there, and then keep the new guys that are coming in, not just for one season. Try and keep them for 2 or 3 seasons and get them a good squad. Yeah,
and as Stephen mentioned there, Ruffy, a good 2 games for the manager to get absolute pelters from the opposition supporters, as he undoubtedly will.
Yeah, 2 previous clubs, there's no doubt about that, and he will relish it, there's no doubt about it. When you go back to a club that you've been at, you've got something to prove, and I'm sure the players will be up for it as well.
Yeah, one of the key areas that I think, you know, Keith Lasley mentioned it this morning as well, and it's something I remember about them, Stephen, was Motherwell played a good brand of football. He likes to get that ball on the deck. He wants his team to play a high-pressing game as well.
Yeah, that's obviously the feedback that I've got for the boys who've worked with them previously. So I'm sure it's an attacking brand of football which the fans will want to see. You know, they want to show up, they want to be entertained. Eventually, it's a results-driven business, but you know, if you can play free-flowing soccer, great. You know, that's the way it wants to be. So we've had a day off today. The manager will be back in tomorrow, and then we'll prepare for Celtic on Saturday.
Yeah, and again, I suppose it's a game with no expectation, really. You know what Celtic are all about. They've got an abundance of players, strength, qualities that you're going to have to try and overcome on the day.
Yeah, massive challenge for us. You know, but these are the games you want to be involved in. You know, you want to play the big teams, you want to play the best players, and really challenge yourself. I'm sure the group of players that we've got are relishing the game on Saturday. It's a fresh start for everybody, back to basics, and you know, it's down to each individual player to earn a place in the side. Yeah.
As a midfielder, do you look at games like Celtic and think to yourself, okay, I know who's exactly opposite me today, it's going to be a Scott Brown, so game on, let's have a right good tussle?
Yeah, I've had a few battles with Brownie in the past, so I'm sure we'll have another one on Saturday if I'm selected, that is. But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You want to play the best players. You want to play the international players. You want to come up against them and you know, and really showcase what you can do as a player as well. So it's a game we're looking forward to, and hopefully we can put on a good show for the fans and get a positive result.
Yeah, there's another set of fans that are looking for some positive results. Ruffy, Mixu Patalainen comes in as the new manager of Dundee United until 2018. They interviewed quite a few candidates. I wonder if he'll feel he was maybe third choice.
No, I think he knows he was at the interview, and quite rightly the club had to get interview as many people as possible, and obviously he had a chance to express the style of football he wanted to play. I think we all know what like he was at Kilmarnock and at Hibs. You know, he played a good brand of football there as well, and that's what they'll be hoping at Dundee United. But they in particular will be looking for results very, very quickly, and again, it's a new manager coming in. We'll just have to wait and see if they change the style of play.
Yeah, I like you know what you're saying there, Rob, because it's so relevant to north and south of the border. I wonder about fans and whether there's a strange fixation in this period of time with playing a particular brand of football. Sam Allardyce has already said at Sunderland, the only brand that is key for Sunderland is winning football.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a result-driven business, as I say, but you know, you want to entertain the fans, you want to put on a style of football that the fans enjoy watching, but ultimately it's about getting 3 points and getting the victory. As Ruffy says, Mixu's got a tradition of doing that, so I'm sure that he'll go in there and galvanise Dundee United, and hopefully our manager can do the same for us.
Yeah, and of the two managers, Ruffy, I would suggest to you that maybe Mark McGee would feel a little more comfortable with what he's inherited, because if you listen to Dave Bowman and his assessment of Dundee United in the last game, he's inheriting a team that can be bullied. You know, mix you up at Tannadice.
Yeah, well, I think we've all spoke about it often. You know, the players that Dundee United left there, you know, there were like 4, 5 first-team players that haven't really been replaced. He's relied on the young players coming in and possibly weren't ready for the task that was in front of them. So again, it'll be interesting when the January window comes round, you know, to see what kind of players he's going to identify to bring into Dundee United.
Yeah, and if there's one lesson from this league, Stephen, which you know only too well, there's no such a thing as too good to go down.
Absolutely not. You know, we were almost there ourselves last season, so from our point of view, we don't want to find ourselves in that position again, and I think that's why the club have acted and made the decision that they've made. They don't want to find themselves in that position again, so it's important that, you know, the players really knuckle down and take on board what the manager's saying and showcase the best of their talents. I mean, we're all good players or we wouldn't be there. It's just we've got to do things, play to our best of our ability on a more consistent basis. Yeah,
are you clear now of the injury? You feel as if you can get back to the best, because prior to your injury, you know, I felt as if you were an absolute key part of that Motherwell midfield, the driving force in many ways.
Yeah, I'm back fit now. I played the last 2 games over the international break. I've took some time off to kind of do some rehab stuff and just kind of working with the physio and stuff. So I'll train tomorrow and be available for Saturday. Yeah.
Have you changed the way you train, you know, over the years?
I've only changed it if I've had to. If I've had an injury that I feel at the start of the week has to be strengthened, then I'll do the gym work at the start of the week and then go out on the grass with the rest of the boys towards the end of the week. But it's just about managing it. But ideally, I'd want to train every day. You know, I train the way I want to play, which is high tempo, and you know, I leave everything there on the pitch. So you know, I want to train as often as possible.
Yeah, it changed days, Ruffy. You know, you managed to keep a consistent level of inactivity in your training all the way through your career.
Yeah, it's been good that Stephen's been able to keep the weight off.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing worse than having somebody looking absolutely sharp as your man. And long may he steer clear of injury. Motherwell will need him at the weekend, and of course we'll put the safety of if selected by the new manager, Mark McGee. Stephen is staying with us for the next part of the programme to talk about the weekend's football and of course the playoffs and the European Championships as well.
Hi, I'm Chris Sutton. To win this beautiful signed shirt from me, which club did Celtic sign me from?
Hi, I'm Craig Turnbull, and don't forget you can watch the PLZ Soccer news headlines Monday to Friday by clicking on the link below.
Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our boot-room guest is Motherwell midfielder Stephen Pearson.
The Boot Room, sponsored by Third Dimension Framing.
Just before we talk about the League Cup sponsor, Scotland, a fair bit of fallout from us not qualifying for the European Championships in France in 2016. You were part of a team. I can remember you coming on early in the Parc des Princes, Stephen. Changed days. I mean, Gordon Strachan, I think, has certainly got the support of the Tartan Army. What's the view from a professional like yourself on whether he should stay or go?
Well, having worked with Gordon, I'm a big fan of him. I think he's brilliant. Great coach, great manager. Really good to have around the place. So from a personal point of view, I would love him if he stayed on. I don't think there's anybody else out there who would come in and do a better job at this moment in time. So I've thoroughly back Gordon Strachan to continue the work that he's done so far. Obviously, the main goal was and remit was to get to the playoffs at least, which hasn't been achieved. But you can see, you know, there have been big strides made, and hopefully that can continue for the national side.
Do you see a better quality or a better brand of footballer that might become available to us if we're going for a World Cup qualifying campaign? Because, you know, pundits, journalists, we can all look at it, fans can offer our opinion, but you guys look at the certain players you're playing at, the standard you were playing at. When you were playing for Scotland in France in 2007, you know, there was a good 7 or 8 guys in Celtic and Rangers playing Champions League football, UEFA Cup football.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you've got players playing at that level, then great. You know, but the majority of the Scotland side are playing in the English Premier League, which is deemed as the best league in the world. So the majority of the players are playing in that league. So they're gaining great experience there. So, I mean, obviously it was a disappointment not to qualify, but I think there has been big strides made under Gordon Strachan, and hopefully that can continue.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest disappointments are there are players who are never going to get to a big final. You know, since the last time, the right good players who've played in all these games are never going to experience what it's like. And Stephen will tell you when you're there. It doesn't matter what club you're playing for. It has to be one of the highlights of your career to get to the final of a big tournament.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that a lot of them are now maybe going to miss it.
The other problem with this, Ruffy, a professional footballer mentioned to me yesterday, he said it's not only the full international squad that's missing out in these tournaments. The under-21s haven't qualified for a major tournament in a long time as well.
No, and you're looking at the success of teams who are coming to the front now, the Icelands and all that. You know, their under-21s are doing particularly well, and it does look like a breeding ground. You know, you're getting to big tournaments, you're getting to big finals as an under-21. You're experiencing the pressures of what it's all about, and then when you go into the full squad, you're getting the benefit of it.
It's not as if, Stephen, we're looking and we couldn't in 1,000,001 programmes solve the problems in Scottish football, but it's not as if certain countries have a bigger pool of players to choose from. It's maybe the way they're coached to play the game that's getting the results.
Yeah, well, I think obviously that looking into the kind of grassroots level of that and going down the route of, you know, starting them very young and getting them working on different techniques and stuff like that. As you say, it's the 21s roughly have failed to qualify as well and stuff like that. So, but I think if you can get a few breaking through for the 21s into the national side. Hopefully Scotland can qualify, because I say it's a massive achievement if you can do that as a player on your CV. It's fantastic. So the players will be disappointed, as I am as a fan. You know, I would love to have went out there and watched them play, but it's disappointing. But you know, hopefully the manager stays in charge and they can go on from there.
Yeah, and again, on the flip side of that, Ruffy, I looked at Wales last night and I thought, you know, good on you. It's great to see them all celebrating. There's a real team spirit about them. I'm not so sure about Joe Ledley's dancing or his beard and moustache, but nevertheless, I mean, you wouldn't begrudge them their moment of joy and their chance to go and play finally in a major finals.
You know, and I think somebody from the outside looking in, maybe us, should seriously take a look at Wales and seriously take a look at Northern Ireland, because 3 years ago they were gone. You know, they were doing absolutely nothing, particularly Northern Ireland, you know, who were bottom in nearly every group they were in, and Wales weren't that far behind them. So they've done something drastic in the last 3 or 4 years, and it could be worthwhile having a look and see what they've done.
And you'll never believe it, Ruffy, apart from watching the celebrations at Wales, I decided last night I'm going to switch over and watch Holland play against the Czech Republic. You know, it was one of those nights, you know, when you're in on your own and you've got complete control of the telecontrol, and I thought, I'm going to watch Holland. Wow, I've never seen a Dutch side play like that in my life. They were Route 1. They were terrible.
Yeah, again, you know, I'm sure the Dutch will be wanting to put their finger on how that can happen. We always talk up Dutch football. We always talk up the style of play that they have. And as Stephen was saying there, to drop so dramatically, you know, after the last big competition is absolutely incredible.
Yep, third best team in the world 15 months ago, now not going to European Championships in France next year. I don't know about you, Ruffy, do you think we should send Craig Brown over as part of a think tank so they can revamp their whole football? Do you think they're going through the same process as our lot here?
Well, remember it happened to Germany as well. No, Germany had a disastrous year, and they took a right step back and said, right, we need to change everything, right from the bottom, and all of a sudden there was young players coming through left, right and centre, and look where they are now.
Yeah, I mean, it does require a rethink, you know, a collective responsibility on it. It's such a difficult question, but, you know, we can't even say it goes in cycles, Stephen, because we're now, since 1998, looking at a former Motherwell manager who's the last Scotland boss to lead us to a final.
Yeah, it's obviously a long time. You know, you want the nation to be there. You know, you want to be joining the likes of the Northern Islands and the Wales. Obviously, England qualified as well, so Republic and the playoffs. So it's, you know, it's a major disappointment. There's no doubt about it. And obviously, the sooner we can rectify grassroots level and get the full process moving correctly, I'm sure we'll be able to nurture players for the future moving forward.
Yeah. Okay, the seeded and the unseeded, Ruffy, on this one. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Ukraine, Sweden and Hungary, Denmark, Republic of Ireland, Norway and Slovenia are the unseeded teams for the draw coming up.
Yeah, I don't think there's much between any of them. You know, I think they're all of a much. You know, I think Republic have shown that they're a very difficult side to beat, and I think we're all hoping that as many of the nations can get there as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you can decide which one you're going to support.
Well, I'm going to support Wales because they're climbing up that table in the FIFA
You're just saying
rankings.
Wales because you won't get stuck with the other three.
This is true. Ruffy, there are times when you need to walk down the Edinburgh city centre and the Glasgow city centre without any flack. So Wales is non-controversial, let me tell you, and I'm sticking with them. Must say, well done to the SPFL. Utilita are an energy firm who are going to sponsor the remainder of the League Cup, Ruffy.
Yeah, and it's going to be an earlier start. It's going to be sections or groups or whatever you call it. I have to say that my memory of playing that style of League Cup football, I enjoyed it. They're going to make it regional, what I think is really important. So I think you could get good competitive games early on, you know, if you put in a good group. And then the other ones are going to drop into it, obviously, when they come out of Europa or Champions League. And I hope it doesn't drag on. I hope the way it used to be was that there was a group, quarter-final, semi-final, final, done and dusted, gone, and then you can move on with everything else.
Yeah, I've witnessed some really good League Cup finals, Stephen, but I get the feeling that the sparkle of the League Cup has diminished over the years. If anything, in some cases it's been reduced to, can you get the treble for a Celtic or a Rangers?
Yeah, it has diminished, as you say, Peter. But any cup competition is a fantastic. If you can win it, it's great. You know, it's fantastic. So I'm sure that every club will want to go into the cups and try and get a run and try and get a run for the fans and get to the cup, because it gives you massive confidence moving forward into the rest of the season, which is obviously the League and the Scottish Cup.
Yeah, and the other aspect of our game, Ruffy, that I think needs to be addressed, and thankfully a lot of people are responding to it, first and foremost Kilmarnock, is ticket pricing. I know that the English supporters are up in arms about it. Kilmarnock are going to charge £20 for home and away fans, apart from Celtic, but that's another issue. I mean, if you're a Celtic fan, you must be absolutely thinking, you know, nothing short of a kick in the teeth there.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. You know, surely that Kilmarnock would want as many people in that stadium as possible.
Yeah.
You want it full. You don't want people when the game's coming round, that fans are automatically going to say, well, we're not going to support that game. You know, why should we pay an extra £4 than anybody else? So then you get people not going to the game. And at the end of the day, it's Kilmarnock are going to suffer. You know, why not just charge them the same as everybody else and get more people in rather than less?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see we continue to bleat on about standing areas in the grounds as well. I think there could be safe standing areas, and we need to do everything to try and get the fans incentivised to come back to the game in greater numbers. Great to speak to Stephen Pearson on the programme. We certainly hope he has an injury-free season and a successful one with a new manager, Mark McGee, and of course we wish Mixu Patalainen all the best as well. From Ruffy, Stephen Pearson and myself, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. If you enjoyed the programme and you'd like to see much more, click on plzsoccer.com. We've got archive programmes from Peter and Ruffy. We've got the Boot Room, Dream Team, all the latest up-to-date news in Scottish football and beyond. And you can win yourself a few prizes for the competitions on each of the pages. There's lots more content. All you have to do is click on plzsoccer.com.